Elliot here with you, checking in with our Facebook following and keeping you informed and safe from these severe thunderstorms as they're rumbling through. We actually have an active tornado warning that is underway for the Greene and Hart County areas. Let me get the graphics on full screen. There we are. This warning goes through the next 20 minutes. It goes for Greene and Hart counties. The storm's moving east around 70 miles an hour. You can generally expect a tornado to be possible, obviously, with this tornado warning. It was radar indicated, which is good news. That means there's no confirmed tornado on the ground, but if you reside in this area, it's very important to get to the lowest level of your home and get inside, protect yourself with blankets, get away from windows, get to your safe space right now as the storm is making its way to the east around 70 miles an hour right now. This is the track of this tornado warning. I'll put the timing of it on it for you really quick. So yes, this tornado warning is going to be making its way towards the Summersville area in the next 5 minutes, eventually making its way towards Wrights, Kentucky at 1:35 Eastern, Yuma, Elkhorn at 1:40, and eventually Mansville getting closer to about 1:45 tonight, as it's making its way to the east around 70 miles an hour. And there is a tornado warning detected with this storm. There's no confirmed tornado on the ground, but you need to be treating it very seriously as if there is a tornado that is indicated. So the good news is we're not getting a likelihood of a tornado right now, but there is that possibility. This is going to give you an idea where the rotation is within this tornado warning. We're concerned about that rotation right around Summersville. I don't know if you can see where the reds and the greens come together. That's where that rotation is within this tornado warning. So it is drifting its way to the east relatively quickly right now.
It has slowed down as well. So at this point, it is moving to the east at 60. It was moving at 70.
So if you do reside in that Summersville area, Campbellsville, and then again towards Saloma, north of Greensburg, this is where that tornado warning might be ongoing right now. If you do have questions or comments and you're tuning in on Facebook, please make sure you submit them to us. I'll be answering them this evening for you. Looks like we don't have any comments and questions quite yet, but this gives you an idea of where that tornado warning is right now. From Greensburg, it does go until 12:45 tonight, down towards Hart and Greene counties right now. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and give you more of a broad picture of what we're dealing with here. Of course, we have several severe thunderstorm warnings posted for Louisville and points northeast of the city towards LaGrange, Newcastle, Eminence, towards Monterey, Anchorage, Fern Creek. This is where we're still dealing with Metro Louisville, and Jefferson County is still in that severe thunderstorm warning. These storms are actually training over the same spot, so there is some flooding underway along I-71 and just south of there in Oldham County, towards Newcastle, Shelbyville, Anchorage, Fern Creek included. There's a couple more storms kind of just lingering to the northwest. Those aren't severe, but they're bringing more heavy bouts of showers and storms to portions of southern Indiana. This is the main big line we're tracking right now. Of course, we have that tornado warning that is still underway for the Campbellsville area and just to the west of you. Greensburg, we're getting rotation developed within this line. I'll show you exactly where that rotation is right now so you get an idea of just exactly where that possible tornado is. You can see that where the reds and the greens come together, that's where we get the direction difference when it comes to wind. Some of the winds are going towards the radar, some of the winds are going towards the radar and away from the radar. So that's where we're getting that likelihood of picking up the chance for a tornado to have formed in that area. So if you do reside in that area, please make sure you're seeking shelter right now, getting to the lowest level of your home, and riding out this tornadic storm as it is making its way obviously across much of the area, affecting Greensburg, Campbellsville. The storm shifting its way to the east rather quickly, around 60 miles an hour. Here's those severe thunderstorm warnings up to the north from Louisville, points northeast of there. We have a couple of viewer comments here. Anything else moving towards Shepherdsville? Looks like Shepherdsville right now is staying pretty quiet. Looks like most of the storms are staying to the northeast of you and then again to the south of you. Clarksville, Indiana in the clear. Generally in the clear. We're going to be picking up more storms here in Clarksville pretty soon. They aren't severe, but they're making their way in from the north. Botland just got pretty hard with lots of lightning, very loud storms. Yes, they've been very loud to say the least here this evening. And looks like we have a question. How about Madison, Indiana? Most of the storms are affecting Madison right now. They're veering their way to the south and east with time, so that's the good news. The weekend.
Expired was for Allen, Simpson, and Warren, Kentucky. So separate from what we're looking at.
Also, I want to give you a heads up that we are actually live on WHAS11 right now with the latest information as well. So we're live with you on Facebook, and we're also live here on air at WHAS11.
Was a quarter size or 1 inch diameter, then you could maybe start to get some little minor dings. But what I also see here is some pretty dramatic weakening of these storms as they push east of I-65.
Okay.
I keep mentioning that because the environment to the east is just not quite as strong. Also,
And it sounds like we actually do have 75,000 without power in Louisville here. So there's quite a bit of people that are losing power this evening. So if you're one of those folks, just try and stick with us as best you can. I hope your phone and iPad or any kind of means you have to get the latest information, stay charged, fully charged, and you're able to get that information with us here as we are tracking these severe storms. Now, I do think that overall the risk is continuing to dwindle, and keep in mind we still have an hour and a half left of the active tornado watch that does go for a lot of the area. And the good news is that watch is actually being canceled for a lot of our friends to the north right now, across Bedford, Seymour, north of Salem and Paoli. So that's the good news out of this. But if you do reside in Louisville and much of Kentucky, even extreme southern Indiana, we still have the watch in effect until 3 a.m. Tonight, keep in mind. So we're still tracking the warnings for the next hour and a half across the region. This is that current active warning again for just areas north of Greensburg towards Campbellsville right now, as the storm is really trekking quickly to the east around 60 miles an hour. It'll make its way to Kentuckiana pretty soon. The worst of the storms are staying down at the south, down towards Nashville, but again, we're mainly still concerned about this big batch right over Hart and Greene counties right now. It is making its way to the east around 60 miles an hour. We're still watching that risk for a tornado. So if you reside in Campbellsville, Greensburg, Summersville right now, north of Donensburg, eventually making its way towards Saloma and Mansville, that's where that warning is.
And it looks like they've issued a new tornado warning.
Yes, that's for Greene, Marion, and Taylor until 2
So we have a new warning for Greene, Marion, and Taylor counties. That warning goes until 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll put a new tracker on this tornado warning so you get an idea of where it's going to be heading here over the next half an hour to about 45 minutes. Keep in mind, this storm is moving very, very quickly, so it'll be affecting you for a brief amount of time here. Basically, it's going to be over your area within 10 to 15 minutes in most spots. But here's some of the timing of the storm. Towards Louisville around 150, Elkhorn 145, Campbellsville around 142. We're looking at about Jacktown at 2 a.m. This morning and into late tonight, obviously. So that's the timing of this new tornado warning that is in effect. The other one prior is still in effect until 12:45 Central, 1:45 Eastern. But here to the north, of course, we're still talking about this active severe thunderstorm warning. This one going for the Oldham County area, and it is really weakening. So I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service does expire or cancel this warning that is still underway for the Owenton area and points towards Newcastle and LaGrange. There's some more storms looking to kind of clip us here on the back edge of Louisville, coming in from southern Indiana. These storms aren't severe, but a couple of these might be on the strong side as they make their way towards Leopold, Leavenworth, and Corden right now. New Salisbury and New Albany as well. But there's a closer look at that tornado warning that is still underway for the Campbellsville area as this whole system continues to march its way to the east at 60 miles an hour. What's it looking like for Bardstown? Bardstown right now, it looks like most of the storms currently are staying to your south. We're continuing to watch that very closely, though that's where it's tornadic down by Lebanon and south of there. Bardstown right now, you're not really picking up much in the way of storms, and most of them are staying to your east and to your south, which is good news.
Taylor County at highway speeds, again, 60 miles per hour, correct, Christina?
Yes, 60 miles per hour.
So it's moving very, very quickly, and this is not gonna give you very much lead time. And since it's the middle of the night too, that adds to the danger. In fact, you need to have just a way to get those alerts to your phone. Hopefully you've been woken up right now, and you are awake, and you are watching this.
We have a question from Frankfurt coming from Angela. Looks like Frankfurt will be picking up these storms, basically hit or miss storms throughout the next half an hour to 45 minutes. You have storms to your south, you have storms to your north, not quite in the Frankfurt area. There's some heavy rain here and there as we're tracking these storms. There's also heavy batches basically north and east of Louisville. This is where we have that active severe thunderstorm warning for Henry, Oldham, and Shelby counties. That goes until 2 a.m. But still, down to the south, we're mainly highlighting the potential for this tornado that is impacting our far south or far eastern communities from Campbellsville towards Greensburg right now. This is where that tornado warning is still underway for the area. Let's put a quick tracker on this tornado warning so you get an idea of where exactly it is heading. Bass, Woolley, Mansville around 150. We're watching it towards Wrights around 141, Campbellsville 145. So if you do live in Campbellsville or near that area, it's going to be heading your direction in the next 10 minutes. Jacktown, Liberty around 2 a.m. Overnight tonight. What about Lebanon Junction? The Lebanon area will be picking up these storms here pretty soon. They're mainly staying to your south, but a couple of these might kind of make their way to the north. We're already dealing with a heavier thunderstorm in Lebanon right now in Springfield.
If you're outside, or if you have to go outside and you need to take shelter, get away from trees and cars. Trees are kind of like lightning rods, and you don't want to be, lightning strikes a tree, it's gonna strike you as well. But lie down flat, face first on the low ground, and protect the back of your head with your arms. Think back to those days in school when you had to do those tornado safety drills. Let's get back to radar now. Christina is focusing in on this area right here. It's just to the east of Pittman.
And again, we're also live here on WHAS11 with further updates. If you do have TV, I highly suggest having Facebook Live on, and then also your TV to get the furthest details from Alden and Christina as well on these severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings.
They are still fairly powerful. So 55 miles per hour, possibly mixing down to the surface or trying to. This is just to the north of Campbellsville as well, making its way towards Burlington and towards Phillipsburg, also in Findlay. Findlay, you were also impacted by the night of that Mayfield tornado. I remember because I remember being on the air when that debris ball, when that tornado was getting ready to move through. Please take tornado precautions right now. Go ahead and seek shelter. There's no confirmed tornado on this, but it is far better to be safe than sorry here, especially after what happened tonight at Mayfield. All right, let's clear off that 50 miles per hour.
We still have these active tornado warnings for the Campbellsville area, Greensburg. I'm going to pull up some of the information on the velocity within this thunderstorm, which means that you're getting the change in direction of the wind. Some of the wind is going towards the radar, some of the wind is going away from the radar. This gives you that idea right now, just north of Campbellsville, for where that possible tornado is underway. You can see that curvature. That's where we're really going to be careful about where that tornado is. Here's the latest warning on it. Campbellsville around 140. So right now in Campbellsville, if you live in that area, that's where that tornado is possibly occurring as we speak.
About 159 and Sulphur Run School, which is right here behind me. Sulphur Run School at 1:55 a.m. Let's clear off this track really quick. I want to just focus a little bit more on this area of rotation here. It's not the tightest area of circulation that I've ever seen, but it is very clearly there. These green colors are winds that are headed towards the radar. Red is away.
Here's a look at that severe thunderstorm warning again to the northeast. If you're living and residing in Newcastle and you're tuning in this video, you can expect these storms to generally stay to your south and east through the remainder of the night here. I really think they're going to go ahead and cancel this warning to the Newcastle area. We're getting a lot of suggestions that it is really weakening quickly. this evening. But on the back edge of this whole system along I-64, there's a lot of lightning frequently from English towards Corydon, Palmyra, Sellersburg, just to the west of New Albany, English, Indiana. This is where we're picking up a lot of heavier downpours right now, and possibly a couple of stronger storms. We still have that active tornado warning, though, again, going for the Campbellsville area. This goes until 2 a.m.
We also have meteorologist Sam Gabrielli. He is still here in the studio with us as well, live streaming.
And these storms are making their way to the east around 70 miles an hour or so. Again, this tornado is not confirmed on the ground, but it is making for the potential for that to happen. So you need to be treating this very seriously, especially if you live in that Greensburg area, Campbellsville, getting inside to the lowest level of your home. If you do live in a mobile home, get out of your mobile home, get to a flat ground or a low-lying ditch, and away from trees, away from any kind of buildings that could bring damage to the area. So again, along US Highway 68, that's where conditions are really looking pretty bad right now. If there's no tornado right now, it is just raining very, very heavy. We're also watching wind gusts up to about 60 miles an hour, and the storm is really moving quickly to the east, around 70 miles an hour as we speak.
So I don't see anything that's definitive of a tornado, and which is a good thing, of course. And if anything, it might be starting to weaken a little bit.
Nicholasville and Lexington. If you're tuning in from Lexington, yeah, there's some showers and storms for your area right now. These storms are not severe, but they're bringing us heavy rain with the fall with them.
Yeah, so they're going to expire tornado warning for Greene County, Kentucky. That's what I have from the National Weather Service, as well as damage that was reported not with this tornado warning, but actually in Jefferson County, Kentucky, for whenever we go back to that severe thunderstorm.
What was that damage in Jefferson here in the metro?
So there's a large tree that was blown down onto a car on St. James Court in Louisville. That's a really popular place here.
Okay, let's go back to the metro really quick, and we'll also go back to our regular radar mode, and we'll see just what that.
So again, here's that tornado warning a little bit closer. We're going to be watching really strong wind gusts along that US Highway 68 corridor from Bradfordsville to Mansfield, just to the northwest of Clementsville, excuse me. This is where we're watching conditions stay very rainy, very tornadic in a couple of areas, and we're watching bouts of very heavy rainfall.
I'm not sure about that. Our producers will check on that.
Okay, we'll get a map up of those power outages here shortly. First, let's see when this severe thunderstorm warning expires. That expires at 2 a.m., so about another 18 minutes.
Hey, Alden.
Yes?
We got a report too from a viewer saying in Scott County there's some without power as well. So a lot of our Indiana folks are likely without power as well.
All right, we'll have Dewey Jones, he's our producer, check on those other power outages across Kentucky and Indiana, and he'll report back with us here in just a moment. Christina, let's put this into motion here fairly quickly, and we'll see just how quickly a lot of this has weakened. And let's clear off that box really quick so I can point out this gust front right there that's along I-265 in southern Indiana, about to head into New Albany.
So yeah, we get a report coming out of Scott County here from Sean saying that they don't have any power. Sean, I would say in Scott County, the good news is most of this activity is really weakening for Scott County. They're probably going to go ahead and cancel that tornado watch that is in effect for that area, which is good news here pretty soon. But, you know, we have these stronger storms that are starting to kind of form just to the west of Louisville. So if you live in New Salisbury, towards New Albany, Palmyra, Sellersburg, this is where we're going to be in Floyd's Knobs. This is where we're going to be watching more storms rumbling through here pretty soon, actually, from the north and west.
Some of it did, and I'm also looking at that corridor right there, those greens. There just aren't any rain gauges right there for us to look at. But if you go by the legend up here, some of those greens and yellows indicating possibly 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. So that area flooded.
Keep in mind, we still have these 2 tornado warnings that are in effect. One of them going for the Hart County area, or Greene County. The other one going for one going for Taylor County and Marion County. We have another one posted for the Greene County area. So we have two areas of concern when it comes to kind of rotation of tornadoes. So if you live in these areas, please seek shelter immediately. Get to the lowest level of your home and stay away from windows. Grab some blankets, grab a flashlight, and find a way to just ride this out. Now the nice thing is these storms are tracking very quickly to the east, so it'll be ending fairly soon.
So that's more good news. And hopefully we'll continue to see that weakening trend.
We have strong winds.
Like it's weakened quite a bit there as it's continued to push through northern Taylor County at the moment. Bradfordsville,
Okay.
there's no warning for you. It's just off
Okay,
to the
great. We just got word that there's 12,000 without. Is it 1,200? 1,200 without power in Scott County, and that's actually the most in our Indiana communities. So we do have reports of 1,200 without power.
Looks like they trimmed down that box just a little bit. So Campbellsville.
Well, that's good news. They went ahead and actually expired that tornado warning just north of Greensburg. So you can take a nice deep breath if you reside in Summersville, Dodensburg, Greensburg. That's where that tornado warning has been expired. So that's some good news.
Marion County here, probably within about the next 10 to 15 minutes. We'll go ahead and put another track on that, Christina. And,
Hey Dewey, should I mention that on air?
Yes, it's now moving at 55 miles per hour, not a huge difference or a huge slowdown from that 60.
but still slowing down.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, trending that direction. Or that first warning that was given.
We have
to
a
this area
viewer
was
asking about the Frankfurt
around
area.
7
This is
miles.
radar for a
They're
quick
coming
sec.
down.
The good news is for Frankfurt, most of the storms are staying to the south and the north of you, as well as Lawrenceburg. So Angela, I really think if you live in Frankfurt, there's not a ton to worry about at the moment. There will be a couple of showers, some storms rumbling through, but I really don't see much in the way of severe weather for your area, which is the good news out of this here. If you do reside near Frankfurt and Lawrenceburg here. Of course, Lawrenceburg's picking up more of the thunderstorms. That's staying mainly down to the south. Nicholasville towards Lexington, that's where the heavier bouts of showers and storms are at the time being. Of course, we're mainly still concerned for extreme southern Kentuckiana towards the Taylor and Adair County area, towards Marion County. This is where we have that active tornado warning that still is underway for Campbellsville. This goes for the next 14 minutes until 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's not an ideal time of the day to be dealing with the tornado warning, of course. This is where we're going to be talking about, of course, nighttime nocturnal tornadoes. So you can't see them. That's what makes forecasting these difficult, and that's what makes it very imperative that you do have a means to get these active warnings to your mobile phone, so it has a means to wake you up in the middle of the night and alert you with these warnings that are underway. Looking to the north, we do have these garden variety showers and storms that are kind of turning stronger as they're marching their way relatively close here to Louisville. Corydon towards New Amsterdam, towards Leavenworth right now, north of Brandenburg, making the way along that U.S. Highway 150 and I-64 corridor in southern Indiana. So we're going to get more storms here in Louisville here pretty soon. We do have a batch of more storms here still impacting Newcastle, Eminence, Monterey. That warning still goes until 2 a.m. From Shelbyville towards Fern Creek as these storms are impacting that area.
Getting ready to cross into Marion County as well. You can see the county lined up between those two. And
We have a question coming from Linda from Somerset. Somerset area is looking to be picking up these storms. They're not severe in Somerset right now, but there's a lot of storms, mainly to the south and west of Somerset.
Really weakened with that last radar scan that came through pretty rapidly too. We did just get a new tornado warning in another part of Kentuckiana here, though it's let's see, near Cynthia. That is in Harrison County, Kentucky.
okay, so not in our
Not in our immediate viewing area, but of course we do have friends or family that live near Cynthia in Harrison County, Kentucky. Please make sure that they are awake and getting to their safe spot.
And our producer, if we have a map of those power outages, let's take a look at those really quickly, please. I believe that's on the website.
Yeah, Alden,
Sam, yes?
I was going to add to Scott County, the report 1,200 without power in Scott County. That's that's our Indiana county with the highest amount of power outages so far.
Okay, that's up in Scottsburg. And Dewey, you can take off that radar there. There should be an option over on the left to toggle off the radar, so that'll just be a little bit easier to see.
So we have a continuation of more of these storms here popping in over Louisville and to the northwest here of Louisville. These storms are strong, they're not severe. We're watching that batch very closely, but of course we still have the severe thunderstorm warning for the Oldham County area, making its way towards the Monterey area, Newcastle. Oh, that is now canceled, which is good news for Oldham County. So if you can take a deep breath, if you do reside in the Monterey, Eminence, Newcastle area, that warning is now expired.
Okay, so 6,700 without power in the metro, 6,800 total.
But of course, we still have the active tornado warning, this one going for the Campbellsville area of southern Kentuckiana. I will get you the warning and information on it for you. It's going for Marion County and just south of Lebanon as well.
Okay, can we pull up those maps too? Okay. So we also do have some power outages in Hartford
Yes,
County,
the Greene County has expired, which is good news. Right now we're mainly just concerned about Marion County and then again Taylor counties as well.
County, Indiana, 1,200 folks are without power there as well. So Christina brought this radar back to the north. There's that other tornado warning she was mentioning. That's in the Lexington, TV market right now.
Yes, and I do apologize for my pronunciation on that. I said Cynthia, it is in fact Cynthiana.
That's all right. So serving a lot of accounts here tonight. This is another line that we're watching, not severe. That's going to be pushing.
We have a question about Taylorsville. The good news is Taylorsville is looking pretty quiet right now. I really think Taylorsville is going to be out of the severe weather for the night. If any more storms do fire up towards Taylorsville, I really think it'll be this batch to the northwest of us. Off towards Louisville right now, that'll maybe make its way down to the south, but it probably won't be severe, which is the good news.
And frankly, once this main line to our south here passes, we'll notice that severe weather threat also ending for the night, which is going to be very good. Let's pull up that tornado watch. I'm curious to see if they've dropped anything early. It goes until 3 a.m., but after this line passes, okay, so we are getting closer to seeing some of these tornado watches being dropped, which is very good. Our northern three counties, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties, no longer.
Here's a quick update on these tornado warnings being canceled, or tornado watches, excuse me. Looks like towards Carroll County. We're also watching the watches be canceled towards Bedford, Seymour, then again to the east of Seymour in Jennings County.
44-mile-per-hour wind gusts here in Metro Louisville. Let's look at those sustained wind speeds.
We have questions here from Dana about Tom Sawyer Park. Let me pull that up for you real quick here.
All right, let's go back to radar now.
The Tom Sawyer Park area, there will be more storms moving through. Now the good news is they aren't severe in southern Indiana, but there's more storms marching in right now from the northwest that'll make their way into Louisville and Tom Sawyer Park. So just kind of stay inside, stay away from windows as best you can as these storms rumble in, but they are not going to be severe as they make their way over Tom Sawyer Park here pretty soon. We still have the tornado warning though that is in effect for Greensburg, Campbellsville until 2 a.m. Eastern time. This is the tracker on it. So it's going to continue to make its way to the east relatively quickly here. Butchertown, 213, West School around 205. As they continue to trek their way to the east, so just please make sure you're seeking shelter, getting to the lowest level of your home, and not taking any risks with these tornadoes as they are making their way across the Campbellsville area right now.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much falling apart. So it was much stronger there when it was moving out of Greene County into Taylor County, and now it's just lost a lot of its fuel, and it's really pretty much just falling apart. So they'll let this warning expire. If we're fortunate enough, they'll even cancel it. But if she really just clicks through here very slowly, it's lost a lot of its juice. It still has some gusty wind zones, still has some very heavy rain, but the tornado threat is largely diminished now. In fact, put back on the reflectivity, please, and we will see just how heavy some of this rain is. Even that doesn't look as strong as it once did before, Christina. No, it doesn't. It's really weakened quite a bit as it continues to push off to the east. Still some very heavy rain there in eastern Marion County that pushed through Bradfordsville. Got some heavy rain here throughout the switch. We'll get another strong downpour there in central.
If there's any other questions, please feel free to fire away. Of course, we're just still watching this tornado warning that is impacting that Campbellsville area, Peyton Store, Mansville, Merrimack. It's really moving quickly.
Some very heavy rain, and other than that one flood advisory, we don't have any other flood concerns around the area, do we?
No, not that
Quickly
I'm
to the
seeing
east
here.
around
I mean,
60 to 70 miles an
based on
hour.
COVID, the way that
You
we
could
were
expect
talking
radar
about, that
indicated
these storms
road.
would really start to lose juice as soon as they ended up to the east of 65. You can kind of see that here when you're watching the entirety of the last hour.
Let's pull up the storm field map again, and I'm just curious to see how that has behaved. I'm not sure if you can loop that, but if you can, we will loop it too. It's already up there. Yeah, go down one. I can also see what Christina's looking at the screen, so that's why I'm able to point that out to her. So these red and orange shades are pointing out where we have some more.
We have a question about Lebanon, Kentucky. Most of these storms are just passing through Lebanon now. They're actually making their way east of Kentuckiana, which is good news, towards Danville, Harrodsburg, possibly towards Nicholasville, which is the good news. So we're watching these storms kind of march their way off to the east here, which is the good news. Let's kind of zoom in on Louisville a little bit. Again, if you do reside in the west side of Louisville, towards New Albany, Floyd's Knobs, Georgetown, Lanesville, we're picking up some heavier storms right now on the northern fringe of the city right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. It's not really a big deal.
But again, the tornado warning is still active for that Marion County area and Taylor County right now for the next 4 minutes. But the good news is this storm is really weakening right now. I'm going to pull up some of the velocity scans on it. You can kind of see it is weakening a bit more, which is good news. They're likely going to go ahead and cancel this tornado warning for the area. But we'll stay with you until they officially do.
Then we can have some kind of quieter weather for Saturday. It's still going to be very windy tomorrow. We'll have wind gusts tomorrow afternoon up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Here's a look at that futurecast. Waking up tomorrow morning, maybe around 8:30. Wind gusts kind of similar to what we're currently experiencing, and that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. But with that sunshine into the early afternoon hours, we'll notice those wind gusts will really begin to kick back up.
Yeah, so the good news is they did expire that tornado warning. So if you do live in that Campbellsville area, the good news is Mansville, Bradfordsville, just south of New Market, this tornado warning is expired. So there's no imminent threat with that thunderstorm in southern Kentuckiana, which is good news. All these storms we're seeing down in the south across the Tennessee border are likely going to be staying to our south, which is good news. So right now with that, we basically have no active warnings. I'm just going to go ahead and put on the radar loop, and you can fire away with any kind of additional questions that you might have. But again, we don't have any more active warnings for the area. But we are going to be monitoring this through the course of the night tonight. I'll keep this on for about 2 more minutes and answer any more other additional questions that you might have. But I really think that as we progress into the next hour and beyond, our severe weather threat is really going to be coming to a close.
So across the state, we have about 10,000 power outages in Kentucky. Correct, Kentucky? Okay, about 10,000 power outages in Kentucky, which is peanuts, just about, compared to a few weeks ago. And 10,000 in Kentucky, and most of those are here in Metro Louisville, because we have about 7,000 without power here. So it's fairly isolated, really, to the north central part of the state. These are wind gusts currently up to about 32 miles per hour. They aren't gusting quite as high. Christina, let's get back to our radar velocity really quickly.
And that also just came down from 44 miles per hour with this latest scan for our wind gusts.
Oh, okay, good. So the wind gusts aren't quite as strong at the moment, but they will be picking up again. We've got a couple minutes left on this tornado warning to our south, and I just want to spend the remaining time that we have here on that warning. But again, we're letting that warning expire because it's really moving to a much weaker area, and if we put it back on the velocity, we'll probably notice that, yeah, it's just really falling apart, which is a good thing, of course. But you still probably have some gusty winds in Mansville, maybe trying to get something right back here towards Campbellsville, but I don't. Let's put that into motion just to keep an eye on it. You maybe have a very, very broad area of circulation right there on the Greene and Taylor County line. nothing quite yet that's resulted in any type of tornado discussion. What do we have back here towards Greensburg as well? Let's move the map up a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna have to watch this spot right here in central Greene County. Go back on reflectivity really quick. I just want to see what the radar looks like. Okay, so there might be a little something right there, but it's also not as strong, and it's relatively small too. So that could just be a regular kind of rotation that you get in strong thunderstorms, because strong thunderstorms do tend to rotate as is. But this is at the very tail end, and if we did see any new tornadic activity, it would be on the tail end of a line like this. Putting back on our velocity mode really quickly, we are going to keep an eye on that. We're also going to keep an eye on this. These are the two areas of rotation that we're kind of watching. Do you see any discussion about those, Christina?
Nothing about the potential redevelopment there, but they have allowed that tornado warning to expire as it was just hitting the top of the hour.
All right, so it's now 2 a.m. here on our Saturday morning, April 1st. This is not a prank. We have had some severe weather, significant severe weather across the central portions of the U.S. all day long. We have been on the eastern edge of this, and thankfully, compared to a lot of our friends off to the west, we have missed the worst of this activity. Confirmed tornadoes in Iowa, Arkansas, and Tennessee, as well as Illinois, causing significant damage. We have not had any confirmed tornadoes here, just some heavy rain and some very gusty winds. Here's the latest radar scan. Christina, you can see where exactly I'm keeping an eye on there. Those two little green and red couplets near Campbellsville and just passing to the south of Greensburg. They are very, very small.